Imagine a place where wishes come true, where your heart's desire can become a reality. What if I told you that place is within reach? All you have to do is give your wish to me.
We all have wishes, small or big, serious or silly. They are what makes us human. They push us forward to grow and to become the best versions of ourselves. What would you wish for if magically your wish could come true today? In this lesson, we're diving into the magical world of Disney's Wish to explore this very idea of our dreams and wishes. In the scene, you will meet Asha, a hopeful young girl, and King Magnifico, the ruler of the Kingdom of Roses, where all the wishes are collected. In case you're new here, our method is really simple. You will first watch the clip with the subtitles. Then you will learn all of the most important vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation from the scene. And finally, you will test your comprehension by watching the clip one more time without subtitles this time and answering some quiz questions. And remember to hit that bell down below so you never miss any of our newest lessons, because every week we help learners like you understand your favorite movies and TV series without getting lost, without missing the jokes, and without subtitles. Now let's begin with our today's lesson. I hope you really enjoy it.
Well, you're young. You don't know anything, really. Whereas it is my responsibility to only grant the wishes I am sure are good for Rosas.
So most of these wishes will never be granted?
Yet I still protect them like all the others.
Can't you just give them back instead?
Excuse me?
The wishes you're not going to grant, you could just give them back. Then, I don't know, the people can try to pursue them themselves? You know, if they're dangerous, then they can be stopped. But if they're not...
You've completely missed the point. People come here because they know they can't make their own dreams come true. The journey's too hard, it is too unfair. They give their wishes to me, willingly, and I make it so they forget their worries.
You make it so they forget the most beautiful part of themselves. And they don't know what they're missing. But you do. And now I do. It's not fair. My Saba is good. The people of Rosas are good. They deserve more than...
I decide what everyone deserves. Whereas it is my responsibility to only grant the wishes I am sure are good for Rosas.
As we learned from the scene, King's responsibility is to grant wishes. To grant is to do something that another person has asked for or fulfill their requests. Here's a funny example from the Ice Age movie. See how Manny grants the wish of his friend.
Wow, I wish I could jump like that.
Wish granted!
And just as a side note, have you ever heard the phrase, to take something for granted? When you take something for granted, you don't appreciate it, because you assume it will always be available or stay the same. It implies a lack of gratitude or recognition for the positive aspects of a situation, person, or thing. Check out this example from Frozen.
Built us a good life in Arendelle, but taught me to never take the good for granted.
Whereas it is my responsibility to only grant the wishes I am sure are good for Rosas.
Now let's practice the American flap T or D sound in this sentence. It is my responsibility. T at the end of it and T in the word responsibility, they both stand between the vowel sounds. That's why we hear D sound. It is. It is my responsibility. Most learners struggle to understand and use the flap T like this in real-life conversations because they just don't practice that enough. To learn and remember all the vocabulary that you will be seeing in today's lesson, and also to practice the correct pronunciation of these words, you have to check the flashcards that we created specifically for this lesson on our Real Life English app. As soon as you start your lesson on the app, You will unlock a deck of intelligent flashcards with definitions and images for the specific lesson you are watching here on this channel. Instead of having to spend a lot of time taking notes of these words, you can review all the vocabulary on the app with just a few clicks. And you get to watch this lesson inside the app, which is super convenient. Most importantly, our app's special algorithm will present you with the vocabulary card you are learning at the exact moment you're about to forget it, so you can transfer your learning from your short-term to long-term memory to permanently remember the words. Imagine communicating confidently and having all the right words when you need them. In a meeting, in a job interview, in that English test you have to take, or in that conversation with a local while traveling. Now all you have to do is to download the Real Life English app for free and follow the instructions to unlock the exclusive deck for this specific lesson. The link will be in the description to this video. Click on it, download it, and follow the instructions. Now let's get back to the lesson.
Yet I still protect them like all the others.
Can't you just give them back instead?
Excuse me?
The wishes you're not going to grant, you could just give them back. Then, I don't know, the people can try to pursue them themselves?
First, let's look at some vocabulary from this part of the scene. When you think you didn't hear clearly, or when you are surprised to hear what another person said, you can say, "Excuse me?" This way, you ask another person to repeat or explain what they just said. When you pursue your dream, you follow it, you try to achieve it. Themselves here means on their own. Asha tries to say that people may try to achieve their dreams on their own instead of losing their faith and not living a purposeful life, wasting it on waiting for their wishes to be granted at last. Please pay attention that the correct spelling is themselves, not themself, as myself, himself, or yourself. It's in the plural, so the letter F changes to V, themselves. Okay, now let's identify some connected speech patterns and do some shadowing exercises.
Yet I still protect them like all the others.
Already familiar flap T appears in the word yet. Yet I still. Yet I still. Listen and repeat.
Yet I still protect. Yet I still.
Can't you just give them back instead?
In the word can't, the T is a stop T. We prepare the lips to pronounce the sound, but then stop the flow there. Note that the stress falls on can, so we have a broad eh sound. Can you? Can you? Listen and repeat.
Can't you just give them back? Can't you just give them back? The wishes you're not going to grant, you could just give them back.
Could just reduces to could just. You could just. We have the sounds d from could and j from just blending together, and the t at the end of just is dropped. Listen and repeat.
You could just. Then, I don't know, the people can try to pursue them themselves?
Instead of I don't know, you will most often hear a reduced version. I don't know. Try to becomes try to. Try to pursue. Listen and repeat.
I don't know, the people can try to pursue them.
You've completely missed the point.
You miss the point when you fail to understand the main idea of something, like in this example.
You're missing the point, Tiger. They're magnets.
They give their wishes to me willingly, and I make it so they forget their worries.
When you do something willingly, you do it without being forced. You choose to do it voluntarily. Here, people give their wishes to King Magnifico, hoping that he would help fulfill them. When you use the word worry as a verb, like in don't worry, you mean to say don't overthink or don't be nervous. Here, worries is a plural noun. They, people, forget their worries. Worries are things that cause anxiety or concern. So it can be both a verb and a noun. and something that causes worries may be defined as worrisome.
They don't know what they're missing.
Asher says here that when all the worries about fulfillment of their dreams are taken away from the people of Roses, they don't realize what they are missing. When you're missing something, you lack it. You notice the absence of something. In this context, people give away their wishes and they don't realize what they are losing. It's not about feeling nostalgic, feeling sad. It's about lacking something. Check out this example.
This garden is still missing something special.
The people of Rosas are good. They deserve more than...
I decide what everyone deserves.
Asher believes that the people of Roses deserve to keep their wishes and the happiness that comes with them. To deserve something is to be worthy of it, especially something good.
I don't deserve this badge.
Hobbs.
We know nothing of these pages. You command great magic, but with this book, I fear it commanding you. Please, put that book down. If you want answers about the light, I suggest you look to your people. They love you.
I know.
They would do anything for you.
Of course they would.
You are their handsomest, most beloved king.
You're right. I am a handsome king.
Oh, my love. Excellent advice. Rosas is so lucky to have you.
As am I.
In this scene, we see King Magnifico with his queen. Queen Amaya seems to be very concerned. She fears that the book manipulates the king's actions.
We know nothing of these pages. You command great magic.
By saying you command great magic, the queen means that King Magnifico has the power to control and use magical forces, but she fears that the book has taken control over the king. He's too obsessed with its magic power. Just like in this example.
The universe is mine to command, to control!
Not so fast, Jafar! Aren't you forgetting something?
I fear it commanding you. Please, put that book down.
By asking Magnifico to put the book down, Queen Amaya asks him to stop holding or reading it. You can also say, put your phone down. It doesn't necessarily mean to place it down, but just to let go of it. It is great to see it in this example from The Simpsons. The books are already lying on Bart's table, so by saying, put the books down, Marge says that Bart should stop reading them. Just leave them on the table.
Bart, put down those books and go play this instant.
Oh, and if you can't stop reading a book because it's too engaging, you can say that it's unputdownable. I love this word.
If you want answers about the light, I suggest you look to your people.
To suggest is to propose an idea or plan. Remember, we don't use suggest plus to infinitive. It can be followed either by gerund or bare infinitive, like in our example.
I suggest you look to your people.
Don't say, I suggest you to look to your people. That's incorrect. Note that the queen doesn't use the phrasal verb to look at here. She says to look to. When you look to someone, you hope that someone will provide you with something. You may even depend on them. Like students look to their professors for guidance. Here, Queen Amaya suggests that Magnifico should seek guidance and support from his people instead of relying on the potentially dangerous book.
Our people look to her for wisdom and strength. Someday, they will look to you as well.
I would be honored by that.
Don't confuse it with the phrasal verb to look up to, which means to admire someone, to see someone as a role model.
You are their handsomest, most beloved king.
Handsomest is the superlative form of the adjective handsome, which means attractive in appearance, and is typically used to describe men. Someone beloved is a deeply loved and cherished person. Note the pronunciation. It's tricky. Beloved. You pronounce the word loved as in loved by many without the E sound, loved. But you pronounce the word beloved with that E sound at the end.
Most beloved king.
Oh, my love. Excellent advice. Rosas is so lucky to have you. As am I.
Advice is a practical recommendation. Just like the word knowledge, it can't be counted, so you can't say one advice or many good advices. Instead, you would say a word of advice or some advice.
Let your grandpa give you some solid advice.
Remember that the verb is spelled with the letter S and is pronounced with the Z sound, to advise. So you can give a piece of advice or you can advise something. The queen in the scene advised the king to look to his people. As am I is an idiomatic phrase. By saying it, the king says that he's also lucky to have her as his wife. It's totally fine to say as I am, but by changing the order, which is called inversion, you sound more idiomatic or poetic if you may. Another possible variant is and so am I. I enjoyed this lesson so much and I hope you did too. Now it's time for a test.
Well, you're young. You don't know anything, really. Whereas it is my responsibility to only grant the wishes I am sure are good for Rosas.
So most of these wishes will never be granted?
Yet I still protect them like all the others.
What do you hear in this sentence?
Yet I still protect them like all the others.
Can't you just give them back instead?
Excuse me?
The king says excuse me to ask Asha to repeat her question again, to show his surprise to hear that, to say he's sorry he has to reject most wishes.
The wishes you're not going to grant, you could just give them back. Then, I don't know, the people can try to pursue them themselves?
What word is the closest in meaning to the word pursue?
You know, if they're dangerous, then they can be stopped. But if they're not...
You've completely missed the point.
What does it mean to miss the point in this context?
People come here because they know they can't make their own dreams come true. The journey's too hard, it is too unfair. They give their wishes to me willingly, and I make it so they forget their worries.
You make it so they forget the most beautiful part of themselves. And they don't know what they're missing. But you do. And now I do. It's not fair. My Saba is good. The people of Rosas are good. They deserve more than...
I decide
what everyone deserves.
We know nothing of these pages. You command great magic. But with this book, I fear it commanding you. Please, put that book down. If you want answers about the light, I suggest you look to your people.
What does the queen mean when she says, I suggest you look to your people?
They love you.
I know.
They would do anything for you.
Of course they would.
You are their handsomest, most beloved king.
You're right. I am a handsome king. Oh, my love. Excellent advice.
What's the plural form of the word advice? It doesn't have a plural form. It is an uncountable noun. You should say some advice.
Rosas is so lucky to have you. As am I.
I hope all your wishes come true, and we are ready to help you with one of them, to become a confident, natural English speaker. For that, remember to review all the words you learned today on the Real Life English app. And the premium subscription will unlock all the decks of flashcards for these lessons. Learning on the Real Life English app will bring you one step closer to achieving your dream of reaching English fluency. And that's it for today. If you enjoy learning English with Disney Movie, why don't you test your English with this lesson next?
Here we are again with another English test for you, this time with the movie Ratatouille. Get ready because we have 21 vocabulary questions for you to answer today.
Gusto's restaurant is the toast of Paris, booked 5 months in advance, and his dazzling ascent to the top of fine French cuisine has made his competitors envious.
Which word is closest in meaning to the adjective dazzling? Popular, expensive, impressive.